So here's a wild thought. What if the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster is now a huge tourist hotspot and a thriving wildlife sanctuary? Well, that's exactly what's happening. Today, we're going inside the Chernobyl exclusion zone. It's a place that was, defined by this total catastrophe, but its story today, it's one of the most complex and honestly surprising things you'll ever hear.
Okay, get this. In 2019, just before everything shut down, the Chernobyl exclusion zone was pulling in over 120,000 tourists a year. Just let that sink in for a second. We're talking about thousands and thousands of people choosing to spend their vacation at the very heart of a nuclear catastrophe.
And that brings up a really big question, right? Why? I mean, what is it that pulls us towards a place that's synonymous with invisible, deadly danger? Is it just some kind of dark fascination with disaster? A need to see history up close? Or maybe, is it the story of what happens to the world after we're all gone? So, over the next few minutes, we're going to uncover the truth of what Chernobyl is really like today. We'll kick things off with the fatal design flaws that led to that explosion back in '86. Then, we'll basically step into the shoes of a tourist and explore the ghost city of Pripyat. After that, we'll hunt for those unseen radiation hotspots that are still a major threat. And we'll finish up by looking at the shocking accidental paradise that has somehow emerged from all the ruins.
All right, to really get what Chernobyl is today, we have to rewind the clock to April 26, 1986. And you gotta understand, this disaster wasn't just one single mistake. Oh no, it was a catastrophic chain reaction of flawed design, human error, and just fatal arrogance. It all started with a safety test that went catastrophically wrong. It triggered this massive steam explosion that literally ripped the 2,000-ton lid right off reactor 4. And for 10 agonizing days, that exposed core just burned, spewing a radioactive cloud that drifted all across Europe. The craziest part? The Soviet Union tried to cover it all up, but they couldn't. When radiation alarms started blaring in Sweden, over 1,000 kilometers away, the secret was out.
And a critical design flaw is what turned this disaster into a global catastrophe. See, most modern reactors are built inside this massive steel and concrete containment dome. It's there to, contain a meltdown. The Chernobyl reactor, it basically had nothing. So when that core exploded, there was absolutely nothing to stop all that lethal radiation from escaping directly into the atmosphere. Okay, so let's fast forward a few decades. Amazingly, this forbidden world actually became a tourist hotspot. So let's just imagine for a second that we're taking that tour. What does it actually feel like to step inside the exclusion zone?
Yeah, this is definitely not your average vacation. Getting in is a serious business. You need government permits, you have to go with authorized tour groups, and you pass through military checkpoints. And once you're inside, the rules are simple, and they're absolute. Don't touch anything. Don't sit on the ground, and whatever you do, you never stray from your guide.
Now, the main destination on your tour, and for sure the most haunting stop, is this city of Pripyat. It's a true ghost town, and it offers this chilling glimpse into a world without us.
You have to picture this. Pripyat was a model Soviet city, home to 50,000 people. Then, one afternoon, the buses just arrived. The residents were told to pack a small bag for what they were promised was just a temporary 3-day evacuation. They left almost everything else behind, their homes, their pets, their entire lives, and they never came back.
Walking through Pripyat today is it's a surreal experience. The silence is deafening, really, only broken by the wind whistling through thousands of shattered windows. You've got trees literally growing inside of buildings. Main streets have turned back into dense forests. It's this haunting, real-life experiment in what happens when humanity just disappears. But hiding within this eerie silence is an invisible danger. And what's so fascinating is that the radiation isn't spread out like a uniform blanket. Not at all. It's more like a minefield. You could be standing in a spot that's perfectly safe, but then you take a few steps in the wrong direction and boom, you could walk right into an intensely radioactive hotspot. So, at the very heart of this disaster is a substance they call corium. Basically, this is what's formed when the nuclear fuel in a reactor core melts down. It mixes with steel, concrete, and pretty much anything else in its path, creating this kind of radioactive lava. Deep in the basement, right underneath reactor 4, lies the most infamous piece of this stuff. It's nicknamed the elephant's foot. It's a solidified flow of the melted reactor core itself, and even all these decades later, it remains one of the most lethal objects on the entire planet. Just to give you an idea of how deadly it was, in the months right after the meltdown, standing in the same room as the elephant's foot for just 300 seconds, that's 5 minutes, would give you a fatal dose of radiation. It was a death sentence, period. And this right here really illustrates the paradox of Chernobyl. A full-day tour, it might expose you to about 100 microsieverts, which is way below the annual recommended limit for the public. But if you were to somehow venture into the basement of the Pripyat hospital, where the contaminated clothing of the first responder firefighters was just tossed, you could get hit with 3,000 microsieverts in a single hour. The danger is still there, it's just concentrated and totally unseen. But you know, after confronting all of that invisible danger, the story of Chernobyl takes its most unexpected turn. Because in the total absence of people, something truly remarkable has happened.
So yeah, radiation is obviously harmful, there's no doubt about that. But it turns out that for the wildlife populations as a whole, removing 120,000 humans and all of our farming, our traffic, our noise was a far greater benefit. The takeaway is just shocking. We were the bigger threat.
The exclusion zone has now become one of Europe's largest wildlife sanctuaries. It's a completely thriving ecosystem. It's home to populations of animals that are pretty rare elsewhere on the continent. We're talking brown bears, wolves, lynx, and even the European bison. So, what is the ultimate legacy of this place? As we kind of end our virtual tour here, what should we really take away from this incredible story of disaster, abandonment, and rebirth? What's absolutely crucial to remember that the relative safety of the zone today, that didn't just happen by accident. It was bought and paid for by the immense sacrifice of hundreds of thousands of liquidators. The miners, the soldiers, the firefighters were sent in to contain that meltdown. They risked and in many cases lost their lives to prevent an even worse catastrophe. But here's the thing, as memories fade, so does the respect for that sacrifice. Today, you hear reports of tourists leaving graffiti on the walls in Pripyat, or looters stealing contaminated scrap metal. It shows this really troubling disconnect from the huge human tragedy that unfolded right here.
And that leaves us with a final thought. Chernobyl serves as two powerful monuments at the exact same time. On one hand, it's a monument to our own technological arrogance and our capacity for failure. But on the other hand, it's also, completely by accident, a monument to the incredible power of nature to rebound when we just step out of the way. The question is, which of those legacies will we choose to remember for our future?